Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. Okay, give me a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so we start with this case. It's a case of rheumatoid arthritis. So this case was very interesting, and it was a patient who's bedridden because of the RA, and she was just 58 years old, and since 7 years she's having these complaints. The complaint mainly was about stiffness, and there was a lot of pain in the joints. She used to describe this pain as if they are contracted. The muscles are also contracted. And because she is bedridden, she feels as if, she's paralyzed. And her father or the nurse, the attendant who is there, is completely nursing her, completely dependent on her, on the father and the attendant. Along with this, she had a lot of weakness and she was unable to move to its side. Turning to the side on the bed was very painful for her. Sometimes with the pain, she is able to speak to, unable to speak to. So much of pain. And what was the history behind it was, so she had a fall 8 years back, and since then all these complaints have started. Many medicines, she did a lot of the medicine, but it really didn't recover. And eventually it got severe and severe, and then now there are a lot of these contractions which are there. Little bit about the patient's life. She's a divorcee and she has two sisters who were married, and they was very happy with their family. She has no brother, and with this she didn't get married because she wanted to take care of the parents. Now because of this pain, she's constantly thinking about it, constantly thinking about the complaints and praying God. She's saying, please cure me or kill me. I don't want to live in this kind of a condition. Because what she feels is the father who's taking care of her is 91 years old. And at this age, this old age, when she should take care of the father, she's unable to do that because of her condition. And in spite of that, he is taking care of her. So that was something which was always there on her mind. And then if something happened to my father, who will take care of me? And she's also thinking that what if I die, who will be there for my father also? And continuously, she'll keep, doctor, please kill me. I will not tell anybody. Okay. This is on one side. And on the other side, she will say, please at least cure me. So these were the two sides which she had. Please at least cure me so that I can walk or I can do some of my work, and then father will be little bit in a better condition. And she also felt while conversing that I think I've done some mistake, and because of that the God is punishing me, and all is happened because of this. That's what on her mind. So we had this history. with her, very caring while talking. She was, she was so conscientious. She was talking about responsibility. She was talking about, the father who was, nursing her. There were some rubrics that we took, that reproaching himself, delusion that crime is committed, okay, despair of recovery with her all attitude towards her illness, brooding troubles over imaginary, irritability during pain, and then she had suicidal thoughts also, because that was the history that we had, right? On this base, we had given her ignitia as the first prescription. Few months were passed, it was not like satisfactory results, and she was not, the pain was there and not completely better. Okay, we wanted to talk to her again. So we thought we'll see what comes again after talking to her. So that time she mentioned, I used to work in Bombay office, and suddenly there was a pain in my hands and legs. I went to the local doctor there, but it didn't help me. And then the legs also started swelling. I did so many tests, and then since then I was on the medication. There's extreme pain in the joints of my hands. It was a case in Marathi, so she said आखडले आहेत, तर खूप दुखतात, like they are very stiff, as if they are contracted. Both the extremities pain a lot. Right hand also pains a lot. She also feels that I can't even turn on the left side. Sometimes the pain is so much that I'm unable to speak. And again, that thing was, the father was there, father is doing everything. And, he needs to do everything for me. I can only turn to my right side and on the back, but I'm unable to move on the left side. So we asked her, what happened? So she said, I went to take a milk that time and I fell down. So there was this event that happened, and after that I never got up. That time when she fell, there was a lot of tremendous kind of pain which was there in the knees. And she couldn't get up at all at that moment also. And she tried to, move a lot, but she was unable to. And whenever she was trying to get up, there was this dizzy feeling and there was sudden pain in the chest used to happen. So we asked her, what happened at that time when you fell? She said, nothing, I just slipped. So we asked her, were you scared at that time to get up? She said, no, I was scared, but I tried a lot to get up, but I couldn't because everything was very stiff. And then we tried asking about her pain in the chest. She said there was sudden pain, as if there was some cramps in the chest. Then she spoke about this event where the mother died, and the mother also had the same kind of a complaint. She was also having this joint complaint, and she was the one who's taking care of her. But this death of the mother has affected her a lot. I was very sad. I was very sad that I will not be able to stay with her now. And I will miss her a lot. I feel, why did she left me like that? She was my great support. If she would have been here at this moment, she would have taken care of me, be with me. But now I have that much relief that my father is there and he's doing everything for me. But I still feel very guilty about it that he has to do everything. But initially, I was very active, and I like to be all the time active and working. So when I'm on this bed now, I'm not liking this. We asked about fears. She said if someone close comes very close, I think it will touch me, and I will fear that. Very interesting to have this kind of fear. And also she said that heights, even if somebody says that, oh, I jumped from this, or I did this kind of a activity, adventures activity, that is also, very scary for me. So I have this fear of heights. So what we understood from here, that her mental status was due to this condition. She's very guilty about the whole situation, right? Yeah, we know that the father is so old and doing this, and she's actually a burden on the father. And this was like the patient's nephew had come to us. So we thought, it's better that we talk to him also, so we can know more things about her, because she was talking about what we just understood, right? So we thought we'll take some history from him also to know her as a person better. So he mentioned that initially, she was a corporate employee, is a very strong individual. Okay, so if there were arguments, she would become very aggressive. She will not give up easily. Even if that other person is very powerful, she will also come out very strong. Financially, she was responsible for the family. She used to take all the responsibilities. Like I said, the mother was also bedridden because of some complaint, and she was the one who, nursed her for almost 2 years before the mother's death. She's very sharp, understands what they mean. She can read in between the lines. So we said she was a divorcee. So first marriage, she came back within first week, as she did not want to marry that guy. And then she went to the another guy whom she loved. And that guy was Muslim, whom she got married second time. And with him also, she got divorced because the things were not going very well. She's a very strong-willed woman, and she's so strong, she will retaliate, shout, she'll become aggressive without even waiting. She can argue that. If we give an opinion, let's do something like this, but she wants to do what she would want to do in her own way. She keeps silent in pain. Touching really hurt her. But she's not cribbing the whole day that, if the pain is there. She's able to tolerate the pain also. Unless it becomes too unbearable, she would say about this. And along with that, she also had this vertigo on moving her head. So this was a follow-up. So we gave her the remedy, and we'll share the follow-up first, and then we'll see. So the first follow-up, she said, what she said was, there is still pain, but that pain which was there for the continuous the entire day, which is not there. It's only during the exercise that she has this pain. And still there is the stiffness, and there is the contractions in the muscles which are still there. And to the left side, she is unable to turn. And for sleep, she said, my sleep is very sound nowadays. But overall, I felt a little better after the remedy. Okay. The next follow-up, we had it. Okay. So what she mentioned during the next follow-up is there is no complete, the joints which are free. Okay, she's not still able to turn to left side. She's otherwise she is feeling better. Initially, she was unable to hold anything any objects in the hand, but she is able to do that right now. Okay, she's able to move the legs to and fro, like while lying on the bed, and she's able to do cycling or some exercises, and that is the change that she felt. Along with that, the sleep is sound, the mood, that irritability and all of that is really better. Hmm. She also mentioned that I used to feel a lot of fear and scared about this whole complaint, or I used to feel a lot of guilty about the father doing all these things. Those feelings are also less. Irritability is less. Now my main concern, what she said, was that I should turn to left side so that I can move to both the sides, and also the stiffness should go less. So overall, she was feeling much better. The next follow-up, she continued taking the treatment and for 2 years, and after 2 years, there was 50% reduction in the stiffness and the pain also. She was able to move to one side. Also, the attendant mentioned that she could get up with the support, use the washroom and take the shower. She can sit for longer period, and her quality of life also improved. The suicidal thoughts were relieved. Emotionally, she was much better, and the vertigo also, disappeared.
So just to add to whatever Prajakta already kind of mentioned, is that this was not an easy case. The first few history was also done by home visit by our assistant, and she's like very crippled, like very lot of disability was there. So what I mean, it was important to also kind of have realistic goals of treatment, right? What can we achieve for this patient? So, for a woman who is very disabled, completely bedridden, also struggled with bed sores on and off, to be able to get up and take shower and use the washroom was a big deal. So that was a great deal for her, for her family, and also for us. And it was not an easy case, to stick to one remedy um, and kind of deal with it. Yeah. So Prajakta just showed like a few follow-ups, one in March, one in September, and then after. So, but over the 2 years, this journey was excellent. Very small changes we might see from this perspective, but for the patient and the family, to give her relief in pain, in her stiffness, and to give those small changes in her quality of life, I think was phenomenal. Yeah. So they still she come I mean the treatment still goes on and off, not regularly, which also says a big deal, right? um, is phenomenal. Mm. Prajakta, you stopped sharing the screen. You wanted to talk
Yeah.
about the remedy. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So the remedy that we gave her was the apocynon.
Can you make it full screen, please?
Yes. So we gave her apocynon androsemifolium in 1 ml and in frequent doses, as Preety just said. So a little bit about the remedy. So it belongs to the plant kingdom, the angiosperms and dicotyledon. It comes in Asteridae, that is sixth subclass. In order Gentianales, in Apocynaceae family. And the analysis, why we chose the sixth subclass for her. What we understood as a personality was a very strong individual, very strong ego. There were themes of injuries, suppression of the emotions or the pain, weakness of the feminine qualities, what we saw in her life. And the age, as a PM perspective, what we saw, like she was like an infant, right? She was completely dependent, bedridden, and she was nursed by the father. She cannot get up, as Sir was explaining, no, about the infancy. Even if you're a strong individual and you have all these qualities, but there's some part of the infancy that stayed, and that we could see in her, and that is how we, choose gentianals or infancy as her age.
So it's also interesting that, what even Sir was telling in the beginning of this lecture, the sudden collapse that we see. So our first prescription, Ignatia, was not very far. It's also Loganaceae family within the order Gentianales. Yeah. So this sudden collapse, one fine day she went to get milk and she collapsed and she could never get up. So that sudden collapse and this completely, you know, despite being such a strong-willed person, completely getting bedridden and being nursed just like a baby, just like how a baby would need to be taken care of. I think that is very, very important. Suddenly, the pain started. She was working, she was in Bombay talkies, and suddenly the pain started. She had to go visit a local doctor. She had to go buy milk, and suddenly one fine day she collapsed and she never got up. Yeah, so these are some very, very important themes and words of the sixth subclass, and also this order Gentianales, which belongs to the infancy, oral stage of development. Go ahead, Prajakta.
Yeah. Also, there were these contractions, injuries, sensation as if paralyzed. And if you see in the repertory, you can see the extremities pain. There is epicynum. Extremities paralysis. Extremities, the parts are paralyzed. There's a lot of stiffness. There you will see epicynum. Rubrics related to the extremities, all the rheumatic complaints. Then there is a lot of stiffness in the joints, knee joints, and all other joints too. Motion aggravates. And in mind, this mortification, sulky, precocity in talking in, prostration of mind, passionate. All of these were also there. A lot of injuries, falls, and bruises is also seen in the remedy. Neuralgic pains are also there. Faintness.
So maybe I can also add a few things here. So sixth subclass, injury is a very big word. Yeah. So I and the other is the big word for the sixth subclass. Me, King series, as Sir used the word, right? The ego is at the highest development. What is my role in the society? What is my role in the world? Am I against the world? Am I competing with the world? Is the world attacking me? Am I cooperating with the world? Or I'm taking responsibility of the world? My relationship with the world could be anything, but it's about me, the individual me, the unique me, and my space in the world. And so one very big word of the sixth subclass is injury. Esteridae, very big theme is injury. For example, composite. We all know, no? I think some of you must have thought of the remedy arnica in this patient. Yeah, we often would think that, ill effects of injuries. For example, we would think of remedies in the composite group. But if you just see the reverse repertorization here, in injuries, even gentianales is big. There's Gelsemium ignitia, Nux vomica, Spigelia, Strychnine, Apocynum. all these remedies where there is ill effects of injuries, of sudden shock, pain which remains long after injuries, neuralgic pains that remain long after injuries. Hmm? Paralysis, new injuries after, if you see, apocynon is only remedy. So interesting, isn't it? If you can go to the next slide. If you see very beautifully what Alan says about this remedy, pain in different parts, pain on turning to the left side. What was her main thing? That I cannot move on the left side. Pain in all the joints, pain in different parts, swelling in different parts. If we can move to the next slide. What Boric says, the rheumatic symptoms of this remedy promise most curative results. Its pains are of a wandering nature, with much stiffness and drawing. So beautiful. If you can go to the next one. Yeah. So this is where in the sixth subclass, the oral stage of development, the anal stage of development, the order that belongs here is gentiles. And in gentials, there are these four families. The most well-known are Apocynaceae and Loganacea. So remedies like Gelsemium, Ignatia, Nux vomica, Spigelia, Strychnine, etc. belong to the Loganacea family. And family Apocynaceae, the most well-known remedy, of course, we know is apocynon. And the main sensation here is of sudden shock and collapse. We normally associate that only with Loganacea, but it is also part of that entire order. So what is true to the part? So if something is true for a particular remedy, we generalize it. So for example, what is true for a particular part in the remedy, physically, we generalize it for the remedy. What is true for the remedy, we then generalize it to the family. And what is true to the family is also then true to the order. Yeah. So this shock, this sudden collapse, which normally we associate only with Loganacea family, is in fact also part of Gentinales and a very important theme of the entire sixth subclass. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah, Prajakta, I want to talk about the actual sensations of the Apocynaceae family.
So it's a main action on the contractile powers of muscles and tendons. And we see a lot of contraction is the activity of the muscle fibers at one end, and the opposite pole of it, that is the relaxation or the prostration or severe weakness on the opposite polarity. Profound weakness as if it is approaching a death, as if paralyzed, exhaustion or dilatation. There's a lot of activity and contraction respectively. So both these polarities will be seen. It is also expressed at the level of mind. So mind is also very relaxed and not able to exert. There is inability to use the mind. As if all the mental muscles are also relaxed and they don't want to, exert these muscles. The passive reaction will be dullness, lifelessness, or memory weakness, unresponsiveness, prostration, lot of weakness. And these are the remedies: oleander, apocynon, vinca minor in this family. Yeah, Preeti, want to talk about this?
So the main themes of six subclass, and let's see how many of these we were able to see in this patient. Me and the other. Strong individual ego, egotism, rationalism, emotional principle. No, sir said. So the first three subclasses are womb stage. The fourth subclass is the infancy stage. And all this from first to fourth subclass has the feminine principle which is predominant. And from the fifth subclass onwards, the masculine principle is dominant and the feminine principle gets suppressed. Yeah. So this women also know very strong willed, very aggressive, very irritable, taking responsibility for the family, responsibility for the family. Yeah, so her feminine principle is suppressed, her emotions are suppressed in so much pain. One would imagine if somebody's in so much contraction, so much stiffness, and she's very accessible for everybody in the family, she would hardly crib, the nephew says. Only when the pain is very severe she would go ahead and disturb others. So weakness of the feminine quality, suppression of the feminine quality. What is my relationship with the world? You will see a lot of hormonal, lot of fertility issues, lot of allergies, lot of penetration. Everything is an allergen, everything is an attack. Yeah, so allergies is also a very important factor in this family. Against the world. Yeah, survive or die. And then lots of injuries, personal injuries. That's also very big theme of the sixth subclass. If we can go to the next one. And the sixth superclass. So this is what Dr. Sankaran has recently also started. So the sixth subclass in the plant also corresponds to the mineral chart. This, some remedies in the mineral chart, which will be the sixth row, and some in the animal kingdom. For example, remedies like reptiles, yeah, the king series, for example. So in the sixth superclass, according to Dr. Sankaran, it says that the sudden large impact, that's the big theme. Violence is a big word. Rage, convulsions, injury, blow, shock, attack, fear, terror. And the main dynamic, the main response is to escape, to run, to hide, to be on an alert. Hmm? And then we have this rapidness, exhilaration, impulsiveness, and shamelessness also, which is part of the sixth superclass. And we'll study all of this in detail when we go to our actual in-depth module. If we can go to the next case. So we have 15 more minutes. So we'll quickly do another case of rheumatoid arthritis, and we'll see what is same, what is different. Yeah, for this one I'll move a little faster so that we can respect everybody's time and close in 15 minutes. But let's kind of try and finish this case also. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was a 38-year-old woman, known case of rheumatoid arthritis. Again, came to us after taking a lot of other treatments. Her child was also our patient. So, her child had ADHD. He was under our treatment. So she also started with, her treatment. Her finger joints and small joints were affected. There was swelling in the ankles, and the pains were tearing violent. Sometimes it'll pain in this joint, sometimes it'll pain in some other joint. No, it'll move in different directions. It is more when she moves. Hmm? It feels like there is a lot of irritability and soreness in the tissues. That is the words that she used. Moving on. Lot of sensitivity to touch, sensitivity to motion, and a feeling of bruise. Hmm? Touch and motion aggravates. Aggravated in cold weather. And she feels better when she kind of wraps up and covers up. Yeah. And the pains are followed by great exhaustion. She was working as a project manager in a big pharma company. She was very dedicated to her work. She was very, career focused. But she was also very sensitive to things that would happen at work. Any little thing the manager would say, or any little dispute that might happen in her project team, should be very, very affected. Recently, she did not get the promotion that she deserved. So she thought her growth curve was affected, and that was bothering her a lot. And that, in fact, was one of the reasons for the aggravation of her symptoms recently. So her position in her environment was important to her. So we know where this is heading. Yeah. So start kind of analyzing, thinking with us. Going on. She says she can't control her emotions. She easily cries. She easily can get angry. She's very sensitive. She's also very reserved. She has issues with her son who is hyperactive and doesn't listen to her. She gets very easily irritated and angry. She tries to maintain her patience level, yeah, but then the anger bout would just suddenly come out. So she directly went into the emotional issues while we were still talking about her background, etc. So this was very interesting. If we can carry on. So the main themes of control, anger, and lot of sensitivity, lot of emotions, lot of things that kind of are affecting her. So you can start thinking of where this is, where is this case progressing? Start analyzing. Hmm. When her son was diagnosed with ADHD, he used to throw a lot of tantrum. I mean, this was a very difficult case, a typical case of tarantula. Yeah, so you can imagine how aggressive he was and what he used to be doing. So she says that I have to really control him. And what used to happen is that everybody in the family at her in-laws would say that it is, you're not able to keep a control on your child. So she used to feel that everything is my problem, and everything is my fault, and how am I supposed to manage everything, how am I supposed to control him, and why is this happening with me, why is everything happening with me, and I'm unable to move forward in my life. It is happening at the home circumstance with the child, and it's also happening in her career circumstance, where she did not get the promotion, so as to say. So the main theme was again and again coming: control and let go, and how everything in the external circumstances were affecting her, how they were making an impression on her. Everybody feels that it's always the mother's fault. I have to listen to everything that my mother-in-law has to tell me, and I'm unable to do anything about it. She keeps things in her mind for a long time. Hmm? She feels that there is no value for me in the house, and she feels she's left out. I think they are all ignoring me. I'm not included in any important decisions or any important discussions that are taken in the house. And I feel isolated and alone in this world. This gives a little bit of hint of, what people are doing, what people are treating her, how people are treating her. But if you look little closely, you will see the emphasis. Where is the emphasis? Is the emphasis that what mother-in-law is doing, or that my boss did not give me the promotion? Or is the focus on, because all this is happening, because my child is this, my mother-in-law is this, and my boss is this, what is it doing to me? Yeah, so the emphasis, where is the sense, or where is the emphasis? We need to realize it, how it is affecting her. Yeah, but again, keep our eyes and ears open, be receptive, and see what happens in the case. Moving forward, she narrates one incident where one of her colleagues got promoted instead of her. She felt this is a male dominated society. People just do buttering. Buttering is very common word that we use in India. I mean, like, you start taking favors from your boss by, in Hindi they say maska marna. No, it's like, you start saying good things about the boss, so that he, in the hope that he's going to favor you over the other person.
Kind of pleasing the other people.
Yeah. Boot licking, yes, exactly. Hmm? So how did it make you feel? I felt extremely sad. I just left office that time. I couldn't bear to see it, and I just walked out of the office. And it affected me so much that as soon as I reached home, I just started looking out for another job. I felt betrayed. I felt cheated. As if I'm expelled out of the group. Like I was, like, I'm not treated with respect. She did everything, like I did everything, so that, I deserved the promotion. I failed at a personal level, and I failed at a professional level. And she would just cry, so much that her eyes would swell up. Her entire body then started paining and becoming weak. Like an internal ache, like an internal pain. So as if the external situation had so tremendous effect on her, this sensitivity is plant sensitivity. So much, there's physical impression, a somatic impression of her pain, of her emotional pain. Moving on, she keeps everything in her mind. Her emotions she will pile up. She wants to be constantly busy to avoid sad. She says, I was very, social initially. I had limited friends, but whenever I would go out with them, I would interact with them, have a lot of fun. But now I don't socialize that much. She used to feel compulsion to do a lot of things with the fear that people might not accept her. She wants people to behave very nicely with her. She wants to make sure that people treat her very well. Going on. A little history from her pregnancy. She was staying in a joint family, mother in law, sister in law, and she felt that she was always blamed for everything. There was a time in her pregnancy where she was advised bed rest for a few months. And that time she felt that her in laws were taunting her instead of caring for her. After the child was born and later when he was diagnosed with ADHD, they also blamed his hyperactivity on her. Everything happened to her was wrong during this time. And she felt that I am a hindrance for everybody and everybody else is hindrance in my life. Nobody pampered me. Nobody took care of me. Even my own parents did not take care of me the way I wanted it to be. Hmm? I always felt that these relationships in my life were give and take relationships. So nobody cared for me or loved me as my own or unconditionally. Moving on. So again, we're just kind of what you see in the red is just highlighting the fact. I think from now onwards, you know that this we're talking about this sensitivity, okay, and everything is affecting her. Yeah. So it is not an animal language. A lot of us might also start thinking of, is this a lack remedy? A lot of themes of not being included, wanting to be part of the group, etc. was there, issues with the family. But this is all maybe infancy language and not necessarily the animal language. Yeah. Going ahead. So mineral kingdom, I'm sure by now a lot of us already ruled out. If we are thinking of the plant kingdom, where she is, hmm? Where on the chart, plant chart is she is. Maybe I can take the screen. Oh, I don't have the rights to share the screen. Prajakta, if you can allow me to share the screen or stop sharing so I can share. Yeah. So if we look at the plant chart also and start thinking where this patient is. Yeah, this is the plant chart, for example. Can you relate where this patient might probably be? Is she in the first subclass, second subclass, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth subclass? Mhm. Any thoughts? You can put it in the chat box. Yeah.
Ma'am, they are getting answers like ranunculus.
Hmm. Which is very good because ranunculus also has these you know immediate psychosomatic, yeah, lot of sensitivity and everything goes in the body. Yeah. Very good. I think ranunculus is a very good choice.
We also have monocots coming up and lily
Hmm.
flore.
Hmm. Very interesting. We'll just add this excerpt, and from here, I think the remedy will become very clear. What will you feel without your mother? At one point in the history, she said she felt that I'll feel devastated. I'll feel emotionally broken down. What is this? As if I'm dried up sapling without any water. What do you mean by that? As if it's drooping down and this sapling has no food. It will be lifeless. It will not be in an erect position. It can't stay erect. It will droop down. It will fall like this. It's as if a flower which is drooped, all its freshness, everything has been lost, as if it's without life. Hmm? It's more like detached flower from the roots. Very sad, like a tulip flower who was very vibrant, dark color, and suddenly has lost all its freshness, all its smell. Nobody is giving nourishment. It's drooped and it's dead. It's just like me. Hmm? So this is connecting to the source, and relating to it. This visualization, this analogy that she gave, she's in the end very spontaneously saying, this is just like me. So this is very interesting. She says she gets some weird dreams, absurd dreams. Dreams are also full of cares and worries. She dreams of animals like rats and snakes. She also has frightful dreams, nightmares. Aversion to sweets, thirstless, perspiration increased with coldness of extremities, chilly, and normal her menses were regular, and sometimes she would have dysmenorrhea. Hmm. So the remedy that we gave the patient, of course, you all have to believe us, did really well. So, in the interest of time, I'm running through the follow-ups a little quickly. We started with potency, but we then changed to the LM potency. In retrospect, for the apocynom case also, we couldn't find actually the LM potency very easily for apocynom. But I think the patient would have kind of progressed much faster if we had started her on LM much sooner. Yeah. So if the patient would have come to me right now and was taking regular treatment, I would have started her directly, maybe, right, Prajakta? We would have given her the LM potency directly. So this
Yeah.
patient we started on LM very quickly, and the patient responded immediately. She was with us for a long time. She still keeps in touch. Her son was basically one of our very first patients in the new clinic here in Malad. So, very like, like they have very good relationships with us, and we have very fond memories of these patients. Yeah, very old patients. So did very, very well. And in the end, we wanted to kind of have a very record that, what is her anemia, which was completely asymptomatic, was also unwilling to do her reports, which was then okay kind of a thing. Yeah. So from a kingdom perspective, the plant kingdom was very, very evident. A little things that little words she used. That's why it's important to not get swayed away by words. Just because she used the word betrayed, cheated, I'm being kind of not being taken part of the group, etc. We can immediately kind of get swayed away with the animal language, we'll think. But again, if you watch very closely, read behind the words, what the patient is saying, the issue was how all of those things were affecting her. Yeah, so the lack was a very important DD in this case, but it wasn't the case. Yeah. And a lot of you said reninculacy, which is very true because this remedy, this group of remedies is very close to the first subclass. So here the main sensation was patient felt left out as if they were ignoring her. She feels they didn't pay attention to her, they don't involve her, and she's ignored. She's isolated, she's all alone, she's excluded. And so the main theme was about exclusion and inclusion. Hmm? So that is the main theme or the main crux of the remedy. And the symptoms came on and off, which was malarial miasm. So the main words of the family Lily Frole is sensation of being squeezed and forced out, as if a toothpaste. How do you squeeze a toothpaste? Yeah, so her pains were like that, and you have to hold on tightly to grasp so that you can be included. Hmm? Lily Frole belongs to the monocotyledons. Monocotyledons are like the invertebrates of the animal chart. So it's all about the focus is how everything in it's very narcissistic in a way that everything in the world is about me, how everything in the world is affecting me. And in fact, Lily Frore belongs to the last subclass of the monocotyledon chart, and which is just next to the first column of the dicotyledon chart. So it can look very similar to the first subclass in many which ways. Within monocots, Liliaceae are the sixth subclass in a way. The sixth subclass is just a way of saying There are only 4 subclasses in the monocotyledon chart, but the last subclass, so as to say, they're very strong individuals within the monocots, and the issues are around their relationship with the world, with others, their place in the world, their community, their self-identity, their status in the world. How, for example, she reacted to the promotion, and how the patient normally would suppress their feminine qualities, their emotions are suppressed, and they then that reflects in their physical pathology also. So the remedy we gave this patient was colchicum. I don't know how many of you all already wrote colchicum in the chat window. Weakness hold anything cannot in rheumatism is a very important. Colchicum is a very important remedy there. And if we just look at the repertory, trifles, trifles aggravate. If you see, colchicum is a big remedy here. Indignation ailments from and effects of mental and emotional consequences. Colchicum again is a big remedy here. Lot of angle trifles about indignation, all of that you see colchicum here. The patient said dreams of rats and snakes, no? Dreams of rats and snakes, colchicum is a remedy there. Who knew? We didn't enter the case or we didn't come to the remedy from here. This is a retrospect learning. But if you see the correct remedy which fits everything, all our theories, whether it's personal evolution theory, it's the sensation theory, anything, from all angles, you will come to the same thing. It's like looking from different windows, but coming to the same thing. Very oversensitive, everything, everything, all external impressions affect her. Colchicum is a big remedy there. Yeah. If you also look at extremities, small joints, rheumatic pain, swelling of ankles, and wandering pain, she said, no, a lot of remedies are there, but if you see, colchicum also kind of is a big remedy here. So as Prajakta was saying, colchicum belongs to Liliiflorae. It's the Liliales order, the Liliidae, which is the last subclass of the monocotyledon chart. It belongs to angiosperms and the plant kingdom. If you look at a lot of books also, you will see pains that are tearing, digging, drawing, affects the small joints. Shock as from electricity through one half of the body and worse motion. The patient had that, right? It affects markedly the muscles, fibrous tissue, serous membranes, joints especially small. Yeah. Many joints are affected at the same time. Small, rapidly shifting areas of severe pains, but little swelling. Every little hurt pains terribly. Yeah, this is mental and physical hurt. Every little hurt pains terribly. This is very important. Yeah. Mangilovori says ambition, very ambitious. Despair pains with extremities pain. If you also see Morrison's desktop guide, worse from least motion and wandering arthritis. Pains often go from left to right. So just kind of a quick snapshot. If you look at from a developmental evolutional perspective also, angiosperms are the flowering plant. Angiosperms are divided as monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Our majority of the remedies are in the dicotyledon. So when we say the 6 subclasses, we are talking about the dicotyledon chart. And in the monocotyledon, there are 4 subclasses. A lot of species here. So you have the palms, the savannas, the orchids, the grains and grasses which belong to this group. The first subclass within the monocotyledons does not have any homeopathic significance, so we can ignore it completely. The second subclass corresponds to the second subclass of dicotyledons. The third subclass botanically does not exist in monocotyledons. The fourth subclass corresponds to the fourth subclass of dicotyledons, which is about separation from mother infancy state. So you have the grains, the grasses that belong to this subclass in monocotyledon. And the last subclass corresponds to the fifth and the sixth subclass of the dicotyledons. So in the dicotyledons, you have the fifth subclass, which is Schoolage, and the King series, which is the sixth subclass Asterids. In monocotyledons, the last subclass is a combination, or it clubs the fifth and the sixth subclass together of the dicots. Main keywords of monocotyledons: I have to stay whole. Hmm? She used the word, no, that what will happen if my mother dies? I'll be devastated. I'll be broken. Hmm? If you see Thuja also, um, there's no, I will break down. I'll break down. I should not be divided. Thuja is an ancient plant though, but this, like I will shatter away. It's not, that means it's not yet dicotyledon. I should not be divided. I should retain my integrity, my wholeness. It's about me, myself, I, me, myself. Very self-centered, very narcissistic also. And we have to just very top level, the liliales, the last subclass in monocotyledons, and sixth subclass Asteridae, the order Gentianales. If we see how we can divide or differentiate, one is monocotyledon, one is dicotyledon. In liliales, you will see ego versus the group, self-identity, image and status in the world. Very sensitive, extreme sensitivity. That is why a lot of us also thought of ranunculus. Egocentric, narcissistic, and exclusion and inclusion, forced out, squeezed out. Hmm? This is important. And in Gentinales, again, I versus other, strong individual with emotional suppression, oral and infancy stage, shock, collapse is the main sensation in Gentinales. All right, so with that, we end here. Did we stick to the time? Almost there. Okay, 10 minutes is okay from a homeopathic perspective.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Prajakta ma'am and Preety ma'am, for sharing the cases, and it was good differentiating between two rheumatoid arthritis cases. So with the same diagnosis reaching to different remedies as per the case. Thank you, ma'am. If we have any queries, quickly we can address them.
So no queries, everybody understood everything or everybody fell asleep. Either ways, it's a good thing, no? We were helpful either ways.
So all are thanking you. I think it was well understood by everyone. So I think we can close today's session. Thank you all for joining in. Just a quick reminder, today's session had you could have avail the opportunity of having 20% discount in our upcoming plant module. The link for which is already on the chat box. So you can just open the link and answer the question. The first 5 correctly answered entries will get the discount. And this upcoming module will be conducted principally by Dr. Renisha ma'am, Dr. Preety Shah, and Dr. Prajakta Vaidya. And we will also inviting a few prominent expert speakers who will be delivering lectures on the plant module. For any queries, you can contact us.
Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of add, for those who have already registered, I think close to 60 people are already part of the group. So what I want you all to do is, because this is more or less the last time that we might be speaking before the actual module starts in January. So, we will send you, like, a list of pre-course material. So start reading. Those who have attended, just maybe go back to your notes. And those who are actually, I know a lot of people who are actually going through the basic course recording as a prerequisite for the plant module. So start reading, start collecting information, and let us know what is exactly that you want us to focus. If there is a particular subclass or a particular family you want to study in detail, uh, please let us know that also. So that feedback will also help us. Yeah, so look forward to seeing you all. And since we are so close to Christmas and end of year, For those who are celebrating Christmas, wish you a very, very happy Christmas. Do take the time to spend with your friends and family. Take a break end of year and see you in 2023.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Bye.
Prajakta, ma'am.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining in. We shall meet next year.
To Parliament House to reenact the Aboriginal Tent Embassy. The police removed the tents but let the demonstrators remain. The next month, the government convened the National Conference of Aboriginal and Islander Advisory Councillors.
We will legislate to give Aborigines land rights. Not just because their case is beyond argument, but because all of us as Australians are diminished, while the Aborigines are denied their rightful place in this nation.
Being born Aboriginal in this country is political. You cannot be Aboriginal and not be political. So I do feel that it's a responsibility for myself and my family to continue to carry that fight that my nan was a part of back in 72 and has been a part of every day since.
To me, it's about the way we work together to address the inequalities, having the same opportunities, having choices, and being accepted for who they are, not for the colour of their skin or for their ethnicity, but because they happen to be a human being, a unique individual who has the potential to offer so much, not only to their family and community, but to our country, which for 65,000 years our people have come.
The fire continues to burn and it still says something very powerful to the Australian public, and that is that Aboriginal Australia has been here for a very long time and will continue to be here into the future.
Mike is getting to be going now.
Yeah.
Let's see, it's 5 months.
By the end of the year, the Department of Aboriginal Affairs was established and it enacted a range of community initiatives, including a national Aboriginal service. After 9 years of struggle, on August 16, 1975, Prime Minister Gough Whitlam went to Dagaravu and poured a handful of Dagaravu soil into Vincent Lingiari's hand.
I solemnly hand to you these deeds as proof in Australian law that these lands belong to the Urungi people.
Between 1972 and 1992, the embassy was established at a succession of sites across Canberra. It not only focused on land rights, but protesters also demanded action on funding Aboriginal communities, self-determination and acknowledgement of sovereign Indigenous nations.
We achieved a lot of things from that Aboriginal embassy, and governments worked with us, particularly Gough Whitlam and Malcolm Fraser, the Indian Prime Minister. And we were pursuing a great deal of development.
On the 20th anniversary of the original protest, the embassy was permanently re-established at the original site on the lawn outside of the house. Over the years, the 10th embassy has become the focal point for a range of protests, including against Aboriginal deaths in custody, the house